In this video, we're going to go over the installation of the OspreyPOS point of sale module. In my example here, we already have the server loaded and the back office web client loaded, but in many/most cases, neither of that would be the case. It doesn't impact how the software is loaded, it simply impacts the entry in the host file. So, with that being said, we're going to do that first. Again, you can do the host file editing however you choose. Anything from a simple text editor, there are various apps out there for it. I happen to use the host editor from the Microsoft Power Toys, which is a free download from Microsoft and has quite a few useful to semi-useful applications. Now, in my case, as you can see, the entry is already there. It is 127.0.0.1 because I'm on the same box. If I was in a traditional environment, this would be the server IP. This is in there from when I loaded the back office client. The host name is the same for both that and the point of sale module. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it as is. If it wasn't here, I would have to add it new. Next, I'm going to obtain the point of sale installer. Mine is already on the desktop here. Typically that would come from the Osprey Retail Systems Dropbox, which your reseller will have access to. I'm going to right click on it and choose Run as Administrator. One thing to strongly note, it is highly advisable, if you know what hardware you're using, to load the hardware OPOS and get it configured first, be it Epson, IBM, whoever. If you do not do that, if you load the manufacturer's OPOS after you've installed the point of sale like I'm doing here, you will need to reinstall the OPOS common control objects. Those are distributed in the OPOS folder of OspreyPOS, so C:\/ORS/OspreyPOS/OPOS. The reason for that is that Osprey talks directly to the common controls, which talk to the vendor-specific controls. So if you load the vendor-specific after, it causes issues with the common control installation. In this case, I have UAC on and at default settings on a Windows 11 VM, so I'm going to need to acknowledge this. Click yes, at which point it's going to start the installation. It's going to kick off first with the file copy. After I click next, accept the license agreement, and then assign a register. This can be changed afterwards, but it's always easier to assign it here. In this case, this is my register 1, so I'm going to go ahead and click next. Then install, and then my file copy starts. Once the file copy is complete, it's going to install the Java JDK. In this case, it's already on here, so it will be a very quick installation. It will also install .NET, or at least try to. In this case, again, it's already on here. That'll be a very quick process. And then the Progress web client, in this case, the 32-bit web client, which is not on here. And then lastly, the Osprey point of sale software. The web client works the same as it did in prior versions. The software for the web client has been changed. Instead of using the IntelliStream for installation and updating, Osprey has instead packaged up the software in an Install Shield package that will be automatically ran by this install and will be automatically ran when there are updates needed via the point of sale shortcut. As you can see, it installed the data cap controls, it's installing fonts, now it's installing the web client. Now it's installing the scheduled task. I touched on this in the back office installer, but that is to facilitate the updates coming down from the server. And as you can see, we're finished. Unlike with other apps, we have two icons. We have the point of sale and we have the point of sale sync manager. If you've been running prior versions of 11.7, you'll be familiar with the sync manager. It's the middleware that talks from the POS databases on the machine to the the actual physical databases on the server. A few things to note, such as the first time that you start the point of sale sync, you may be prompted to allow it to run. You'll obviously want to answer yes. Secondly, I recommend starting the point of sale sync manually before attempting to run a point of sale. The initial local point of sale databases need to be created, and that could take anywhere from a few seconds up to several minutes, depending on the sizes of your item file and your customer file, etc. Once those have been created going forward, anytime you start point of sale, it will start the sync on its own, or you could have the sync manager start during startup. That's personal preference. It is also recommended that you set it to automatically display in the taskbar. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up here. As you can see, it's down here. It's not really doing much of anything. There it clicked green. It checked for an update and there aren't any. But what I want to do now is go to taskbar settings. I want to expand the other system tray icons. And as you can see, this open edge component, I'm going to turn that to on, and then it will always show. This process is slightly different depending on the operating system. Consult your operating system documentation if need be. Now I'm going to go ahead and start point of sale. This is loaded with the default database, which is suitable for demoing the software. However, you may want to go tweak it because your hardware may not be attached, or even if it is, maybe different hardware. I'm going to go ahead and click through these messages. And there we have point of sale. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And again, things like cash drawers or number of cash drawers are configurable from within the back office, just like they always have been. I'm going to tell it cash drawer 1. It's prompting for a customer. Again, that's configurable as it always has. I'll hit escape to bypass that. Now in my case, I'm finished, so I'm going to choose help and quit. And there we are. If you notice, the sync manager is still running. That won't hurt anything, and in fact will ensure that the point of sale local databases are always current. However, you could choose to shut it down if you needed to for whatever reason. You want to wait till it's grayish white background like this, right click and click quit. Thank you and have a good day.